Hello everyone, and welcome back to Let's Play Rogue Traitor Warhammer 40k. I'm your host, Colors Fade. It's episode 60. We have 2 planets of ours that we need to go visit for their colony management stuff. And our eventual goal this episode is to get back to Footfall and talk to Vladium Tokara and see if we can sell him enough stuff to get the good staff for our navigator. But in the meantime, we need to talk to Abelard.
Lord Captain.
Abelard surveys you briskly but meticulously, as though he's inspecting you for shortcomings. Do the words Epitaph, Incident N872-04, or Tech Blight mean anything to you? They are connected to Theodora somehow.
No, definitely not. No, I don't recall anything like that.
Yeah, that doesn't sound honest. Okay, well, let's talk about things that may be useful to me as a rogue trader.
A noble aspiration, Lord Captain.
We talked to him and he
I
didn't
am
tell us
ready
anything.
to acquaint you with all the particulars that interest you.
Okay. Well, that's all for now.
As you wish, Lord Captain.
All I know is that he didn't
Lord
tell us anything. He's hiding something. But maybe he's hiding something involuntarily. Alright. We need to go to Vibos, and then we need to go to Kiava Gamma, I believe. So let's see what our system here says. This is talk to the Master of Ceremonies. We're not doing that yet. Vibos. Yes, that's where we need to go. Okay, here. Whoa, travel. There was a commotion on the lower decks. The chief mutant hunter, who is responsible for eliminating heresy in the hold of the void ship, went mad due to the perilous influence of the warp. The officer climbed the parapet above the central accelerator complex and threatened to jump unless the entire crew immediately submitted to a rigorous examination to uncover physical deformities and unholy perversions. After calculating the time and financial cost of the inspection of thousands upon thousands of crew members, and consulting the tech priests about the danger of foreign materials getting into the intake of the accelerator complex, the deranged mutant hunter was graciously allowed to proceed with ending his life in the desired manner. Poor guy. Okay. Colony Dargonus has begun a new stage of development. Well, really? Dargonus. Lord Captain, there has been a tragedy on Dargonus. Governor Drivestem has been dedicating most of his time to restoring the astropathic choir lost to the warp storms, but the psychers he assembled were struck by an unknown affliction. They heard something, and it cast them into madness. The astropaths lost sleep, started clawing at their skin to the flesh and muttering gibberish, and eventually went completely berserk. They had to be eliminated, and now only a few of the most resilient astropaths are upholding the connection to Dargonus. But how long will it last? Where did the former astropaths come from, and can we get more of them? I have received complaints that Governor Drivestem has devastated the minor astropathic choirs of the Protectorate. He scaled them down by almost half through blatant abuse of his authority. To take more people from these choirs would mean depriving ourselves of the connections with other worlds. We could try to hire sanctioned psychers from other domains, but they will be few, as the road to the Imperium is perilous. We could also try getting by with the resources that are already available to us by seeking out fugitive astropaths and having them train psychically active citizens of the Protectorate who show promise. A most regrettable violation of his laws, but considering our grave situation. What's the cause of this affliction? Who knows? The schemes of heretics from the cult of the Final Dawn, the treacherous magic of the Xenos. Perhaps it was a planned diversion, or perhaps merely a stray echo in the Immaterium. Our options here. Witch Collector. Rogue Trader's party gain plus fellowship bonus divided by 2 momentum when using any psyker or navigator powers. Okay, that's nice. Higher sanctioned will gain discipline, disciple of the damned. Demons, chaos creatures, psychers, and navigators deal 10% less damage to the rogue trader and their allies. I like that one. Acquire unsanctioned psychers. Get the Psychic Ward. While Veil degradation is equal to or more than 10, the wearer deals 6% additional damage with all psychic powers. Willpower bonus plus perception bonus. Ooh, that'd be good for Idira, but we don't use her very much. What say my advisors? Where can we obtain and acquire? Astropaths are among the most finely trained servants in the Imperium, who have beheld the light of the Emperor himself and gained a special bond with our master. I strongly advise the rogue trader to recruit only sanctioned psychers, who are capable of keeping their talents in check. If there are not enough, the Inquisition will assist you in locating and acquiring more. Your lordship, Lady Theodora not only had enemies in the Expanse, but friends as well, those whom she helped out, rescued, and saved. I think these people can offer a helping hand. Among them are several powerful planetary rulers who possess both astropaths and a deep respect for your family name. There are a lot of psychers on my home planet, Liera, Lord Captain. Do you know why? There we are not despised, persecuted, or enslaved on the black ships. There we are sheltered from raids, educated, and respected. Of course, it's all done in secrecy from outsiders, but I can suggest which rulers to contact. Maybe the Von Valencia's family name will be enough to make a deal and obtain a better trained group of astropaths than some criminal rabble. So Abelard will get us just Securia and the Disciple of the Damned. Yeah, I kind of like that. 10% less damage to me is nice. Abelard, it's time to reach out to Theodora's old friends. It will be done. I wonder how many of them are still alive. A ship carrying 24 astropaths soon arrived on Dargonus. They descended to the surface, covered head to toe in protective amulets as if going to war. The news of the tragedy that had befallen the previous choir had quickly spread throughout the expanse. Each of them conveyed words of amity from the rulers who had sent them, and each asked permission to visit the family crypt to pay tribute to Lady Theodora. There has been no recurrence of the disastrous astropathic madness, but the new astropaths have all reported hearing strange whispers ever since their first day on the planet. Adeptus Arbites. So, we get that, and I don't think there's anything else that we can do here. Rank 3, yeah, we're done. Guilds. Guilds blocks Adeptus Arbites, and in fact, let's see. Okay, I'm just making sure of stuff while I check some things here in my notes. Alright, we're good there. Let's try to get to our planet up here. Talk to the Master of Ceremonies. We will not be doing that. Vibos. Visit this place, shall we? Vibos. Show us what you got. Lord Captain, the astropathic choir has caught glimpses of horrifying visions coming from Vibos 6. Something has breached the colony from underground. Soon after a new sector of deep tunnels had been put into operation, it was overrun by monsters. They lurk in the darkness, swarm in the shadows, attack quietly, and leave nothing in their wake, consuming flesh, plasteel, and rockcrete. The churring of 1,000 claws heralds their approach, and desperate cries can be heard in the silence of the tunnels. Praise be to the Golden Throne, these creatures do not seem to be interested in getting to the surface. However, they have seized several active mines and are doing Emperor only knows what to them. What think my advisors? What are these creatures? Few who have faced them have survived to tell the tale, so the information is scarce and hardly reliable. Their accounts, if you will, are a jumble of facts mixed with wild speculation. The frightened workers call these monsters a swarm because they crawl along the tunnels like a wave. They said that the enemies are vast in number and resemble insects. One of the fortunate survivors, mad from the horror, emerged from the mines holding a wrench engraved with strange markings. The pattern was exactly the same as the one the mad convicts had been etching into the walls. The overseers have already admitted to somewhat bending the restrictions on digging in the vicinity of the unknown tunnels we recently discovered. New mining drifts have been placed dangerously close. Advisors? The threat is unknown. Establishing the nature of the threat is the top priority. Collateral losses are insignificant. Requesting authorization to coordinate an offensive operation to be carried out by penal battalions in order to determine the nature of the attack. We have to block off this threat and protect the people. To do this, we must blow up the tunnels. But to make sure that the plan works, it has to be done in areas currently occupied by this unknown enemy. I am sure that a dozen brave souls can be found in the colony, ones willing to accept the grace of martyrdom and carry the explosives into the darkness below. We drive those monstrosities back underground and use heavy drilling machines to simulate an offensive from multiple directions. Then we block the majority of the passages, leaving only the best defended ones open. Let's see how those miscreants enjoy being trapped. Pascal is going to get me Carapace Fragment. This item negates all energy damage dealt to the wearer, but it cannot occur more than 3 times per combat. Still, that's pretty significant. You get the Carapace Fragment here, and it costs us a people. You will gain Master of the Inferno. All allies gain plus 10 demolition and deal plus 10% more fire damage. Viceland and Prometheum become a raging, all-destroying force in the hands of the rogue trader. Oh, blow up the tunnels, Master of the Inferno, so we get that. I see. Pascal, you will plan our counterattack. May our tactical analysis be graced by optimality. Cool. The plan of Majos Hanuman was constructed with ruthless logical perfection, weighing efficiency against human losses. The smaller units were sacrificed without hesitation in order to preserve the larger forces. The Vibo 6 defense squads met the swarm in the darkness, monstrous insects clad in metal carapaces and tearing everything apart with their mandibles. The carnage inside the narrow caves cost many lives. But in the end, the creatures were exterminated and their vile lair, not unlike a metallic crypt, was ransacked and claimed as trophies. Alright, killing fields. Well, is there anything else we can do on Vibo 6? Oh, we can do underground workers. They get us some plasteel in exchange for mechanisms. And we can do nothing else, because these are mutually exclusive. Envirodome, Holy Servitude. Okay. I don't know. I don't think we need mechanisms for plasteel. That doesn't seem like a good... That doesn't seem worthwhile to me. I'd rather have the mechanisms. That feels like they're trying to sucker you with that one there. Now we need to go to, I believe... Oh, Foulstone is where we need to go. Okay. Foulstone should be where? What's this? Hello? What's this one? Sun. Desert World, Smuggler's Cache, Phlogiston. What's this thing here, though? It's not telling me. Contracts, a small thorn. Profit factor for adamantine. No. People for provisions. Adamantine for profit factor. People for the Hand of Avolius. What is this? After a successful attack, these gauntlets grant the wearer a 50% chance to inflict the bleeding effect on enemies that fail a toughness test. If the wearer has dogmatic adherent, the test is made with a minus 20 penalty. Not necessary. Okay. There's Janus, and this should be... Yep, an event. Gotta go there. And get us closer to Foulstone. And do we have anything else pressing in here? Quests. 3 sorrowful full angels. Worry about that in Act 4 and 5. Talk to the Master of Ceremonies. Talk to the officers. The Vox Master and the Von Valancius flagship. Master Helmsman Ravor may be able to tell us something. And then we need to go to the Administratum Palace on Darkonos. Okay. Well, let's go take care of this one first then. Since we're close. Visit. So it's a lot of the last minute busy work that you gotta do before you can go on vacation, you know. Where we're gonna go on vacation is into the heart of the Drukhari Empire. But I kind of like Act 3. It's a nice break from a lot of this other stuff. Requires the Lord Captain's decision. A mysterious warp anomaly has been appearing in the way of the dynasty's trade ships. consuming them whole. Some are confident that this entity is sentient, and that these events are the actions of a cunning hunter. We can allow Han Cassini to deal with the anomaly. We'll get us 1,500 reputation points with the Imperial Navy and more profit factor. Halt all trade in the dangerous region. Oh, all that goes down. Use psychers to study the warp anomaly. No. Those are all negatives. Han, it's your job. The navigator fearlessly guides his ship directly into the anomaly, and soon all consumed vessels begin to emerge from it. The anomaly dissipates, releasing Han's ship last, its crew aged by decades. Now a decrepit old man, the navigator no longer recognizes familiar faces and quietly lives out his days in the ship's Medicaid facility, never divulging what transpired inside the anomaly. So this is really similar to Stephen King's short story called The Jaunt. And if you've never read it, I highly recommend it. His short stories are some of his best work that he's ever done. The Jaunt is one of my favorites, and it's a top 3 short story from me from Stephen King, and my favorite one is called Word Processor of Gods. Definitely go read that one. It's awesome. Okay, so is there anything else we can do here at Foulstone? Nope. This, what are we missing here? The Accuser of Sin. Oh, charge ability deals additional damage against will equal to weapon bonus. I think that's weapon bonus. It should be. That's what would make sense. Oh no, willpower bonus against demons and Xenos. Okay. That gives you bonus for Drusians. What are we missing here? People. The Crusade is missing weapons and people. This would give us accusations of heresy feature. The Rogue Trader and their allies gain plus 20% damage against demons. I would like that. Crusade. So we need weapons and people. Weapons and people. Okay, and then this one, profit factor over 50. We need adamantine. We get the hammer of the Epiphany. I don't care. And this stuff is nice, but it's not like reputation points. This one I'd kind of like. We get security. Holt gains the accusation of heresy feature. Lord Captain's retinue gains the guidance of the Astronomicon feature. You gain plus 10 bonus to all characteristics during warp and counter battles. And the Rogue Trader and the allies gain 20% damage against demons. The retinue gains accusation of heresy, and we gain accusation of heresy. I want this. We need 3 weapons and 9 people. 3 weapons and 9 people. What else do we have? Vibos. The Lord Captain's presence is required. Oh, we forgot to click on that. It wasn't just this thing down here. Okay. Well, let's go. People and weapons. That loses us people. That gets us profit factor. That loses us people. That loses us people. Profit factor gets us adamantine. So we needed adamantine. How would we get people though? How would we get people? Janus gets that. Oh, and we get some more. We get some more of those replenishable Medicaid kits. Okay, Kiava Gamma. Motive forces life. What do we get from this? Instability detonator, explorators, profit factor, efficiency. We lose phlogiston, chemicals, promethium, and reputation with explorers has to be greater than that. Instability detonator. This item grants wearer plus 5 bonus to tech use. Once, yeah, it's not a big deal. Profit factor plus 1 though, and explorators. Yes, execute that. Dargonus. So Vibos has this one other one up here that was underground workers. Mechanisms for plasteel I don't care about. Can you get me more workers? No, you can't. Okay. We are kind of screwed then. Well. So be it. I'd like to pull that one off, but we're not gonna. Still got to talk to some crew members too, so let's go back up to Vibos. 2 profit factor gain. Got the administratum here. We have to talk to Dargonus. Oh, I got the windows open in my house, and it's been so hot lately, and today it finally rained, and now there's a cool breeze going through it, which is really nice. Von Valencia's palace, the administrator. Okay, who do we want? Solomon, not you. Oh, you have to go. Okay, I got you. Solomon has to go. He's just gotta go. That's right, because we're going there to see about the tithe. All right, my friend.
Is there money to be made?
Prefect Inscribia Volta. The shriveled, insect-like old woman greets you with a keen look. Welcome back to the Temple of Law and Order, your lordship. I have already been informed that you are here about Thessera. Prefect Volta nods to herself and snaps her brittle fingers, prompting a servo skull to flit closer, the creaking of its quill filling the air. Begin entry 51/4-alpha. In the matter of the world, Thessera and its obligation to pay the imperial tithe, this audience with the prefect of the Adeptus Administratum is now in session. Now then, what were your findings, Holt von Valencius? Let's see. A heretic had seized power on Thessera. I had him executed. I see. The old woman looks at you intently over her ocular lenses. This is regrettable news. Even if your action was forced by circumstance, the loss of the governor means the loss of the very stability that any servant of the administratum is immutably obligated to uphold and protect. Well, let us get to the record then. Rogue trader Holt von Valencius effected the execution of the governor of Thessera, appointed by the Adeptus Administratum. Preliminary damage assessment and restoration forecast of the world's key structures, Class A, severe, noted and recorded. Salmon, you want to continue on with this conversation for me? I'm afraid I cannot accept another person's report. Her shriveled fingers nimbly extract a piece of parchment from her stack of papers. It is covered in minuscule writing. According to Coronis Expanse Statute 19/A-11, any decision pertaining to the matters of the tithe shall solely be answered for by the person that directly made said decision. A report made by any other person shall be deemed legally null and void. The prefect puts the document back in its place. As you can see, this is a sacred stipulation that you submit your report in person and that I accept it from no one else. Fine, then. I also discovered a warp-active mineral on Thessera and ordered it be studied. If this resource proves sufficiently useful to the Imperium, you must include it in the tithe. The prefect grimaces. I can quite confidently deem that outcome to be adverse to the interests of the Imperium. Alas, your lordship, I am duty-bound to deliver an exact and impartial assessment of the events. Rogue trader Holt von Valencius authorized the study of a presumably warp-corrupted material located on the world Thessera. Due to the danger to the planet resulting from his decision, tithe shipments from Thessera can no longer be considered safe and are to be halted until further notice. Noted and recorded. The prefect chews on her lip in thought. I will be frank with you, your lordship. The conclusions that were drawn regarding the Thessera inspection were far from satisfactory. Minor disturbances such as a mass execution of mutants or the rabble's plot disguised as a celebration are not nearly as dangerous as the, if you will permit my choice of words, coup that resulted from your intervention. I understand that consequences are something that those endowed with power are wont to leave to their servants to deal with, and therefore something they find acceptable to ignore. Inscribia's ocular lenses flash as she looks up from her scrolls. However, I hope my words may help you revise your approach to executing the Imperium's will in the Coronis Expanse in the future. With a tap of her nail, she dismisses the servo skull. I see. Well, I took care of a problematic world of yours, and you are twisting the facts regarding my efforts. The prefect's ocular lenses flash as she replies in an offended tone. I, his lowly and unworthy servant, have no right to twist any facts. My duty is to assess consequences and do everything I can to make sure the Imperium receives what it is owed. That is the purpose of my existence. Suddenly, the old woman's voice becomes less stern and almost didactic. Speaking from my wealth of experience, if I do say so myself, taking care of the Imperium's prosperity is a heavy burden, albeit an honorable one. The fact that even a rogue trader can run into difficulties while doing it only further confirms my many years of observations. All right. One way or another, can we consider the matter of the Sarah closed? Am I correct? Closed and recorded, yes. However, that was just the first item on the agenda. Now on to the next matter. The prefect beckons over another servo skull, which obediently takes its place at her side. Begin entry 52/1-Sigma. Competency assessment of Proctor Solomon Anthar, based on his performance during the mission on the world of the Sarah. You hear a painfully metallic creak as Solomon's augmented hand clenches into a fist. Competency assessment? Very well, Prefect. I am listening. Solomon did nothing that can be considered a violation of the Lex Imperialis. So as to avoid misunderstanding, allow me to clarify that I am not making any judgment, but rather gathering information at Marshal Strack's request. The prefect turns to Solomon. Proctor Anthar, you will be evaluating your own conduct in this instance. For my part, I will merely state a few key points. Let us begin. How would you describe your performance, taking into account the following facts? You took part in the execution of an administrative appointee without its appropriate permission. You also allowed yourself to be captured, thus endangering your mission and imperiling the valuable equipment issued to you by the Adeptus Arbites. What is more, you sanctioned a tithe-related decision that carries adverse consequences for the Imperium. The old woman pauses. That is all. Proceed to your self-evaluation. Solomon's heavy gaze is fixed upon the prefect as he slowly forces the first word out of his jaws, as if they have turned to stone. I took every effort and was acting solely in the name of the Lex Imperialis. However, the outcome of the mission speaks for itself. My verdict is thus that my performance in the Thessera case was inadequate. Noted and recorded. Prefect's immaculately polished ocular lenses bore into you once more. Now that the Thessera inspection report has been properly entered into the record, allow me, on behalf of the Adeptus Administratum, to officially extend our gratitude to you for the support you provided us. May the Von Valencius name be forever praised, and may the Emperor protect your dynasty for many generations to come. That said, I must now request your assistance in a different capacity. A number of highly important court cases have accumulated at the Palace of Justice, the kind that require formal resolutions by the rogue trader himself. Aren't you not being a little harsh on yourself, Solomon? Exactly as harsh as my duty demands that I be. An arbitrator has no right to mistakes or weaknesses. Our mission is much too important. The proctor's voice sounds firm but detached, as if his mind is wandering far away. What is this Palace of Justice? It is a temple of law erected by your ancestors. Some cases could only be settled by heads of the dynasty, but since their time was occupied by other important duties, a facility was built for storing especially complex cases. At a certain point, servants of the administratum were permitted to use the Palace of Justice for hearing disputes. Then, in Lady Theodora's time, the Arbites became part of the legal procedure as well. I see. Well, how will this trial proceed? The defendants will speak first, whereupon you can ask me clarifying questions on the case, and then a death sentence must be passed. You are, of course, free to judge otherwise, but an execution is preferable, since in every case that will come before you, an outcome without highly unpleasant consequences is likely. Executions reduce the number of malcontents and motivate prospective defendants to solve their problems before they come under the purview of a rogue trader's court. I see. I hope we can get this over quickly. as important as these cases may be, my personal business is even more so. I have relegated my current tasks in advance, and thus am ready to escort you to the Palace of Justice immediately. Please follow me. Great, we've been waylaid into court proceedings. I forgot about this. The Palace of Justice. Well now, you old biddy. Oh boy, doesn't that look fun? You are greeted by an impeccably dressed man with a perfectly straight back. An Arbites scale emblem is embroidered on his clothes. Glory to House von Valencius. We are honored to welcome you to the Palace of Justice, your lordship. Do you wish to proceed to the session at once, or will you grace me with any questions I might humbly answer? No, let's begin. Please follow me. In Scribia, Voltaire's dreary vox-amplified voice carries across the hall. The court will now hear the case DP/1453/2, the doleful host against the astropathic choir of Dargonus. Representatives for the parties will present their arguments following standard procedure. A woman with lines of scripture all over her skin folds her arms into an aquila. My name is Sister Juth, and I represent the doleful host. O God Emperor's anointed one, we came upon a group of heretics whose minds brimmed with the most shameless thoughts. We captured them and tortured them as befits their transgressions. From what we were able to discern from their wailing and screaming, the head of the astropathic choir is plotting to betray House von Valencius. No one is a liar when flame is caressing their flesh. The doleful host surrounded the choir building and demanded that the heretic be handed over. It was solely out of respect for the anointed one that we refrained from burning down the wayward heretic's den on the spot. However, say but the word and we shall take him, that he may undergo a righteous cleansing. The arguments are acknowledged and shall be weighed on the scales of justice. The representative will retreat to the Chapel of Patience to await the verdict. The gaunt man dressed in astropath's robes is standing tall, but his voice trembles with fury. I am Master Anelio. I represent the Dargonus astropathic choir. These insidious and ignorant people are passing off their victims' ravings as truth. Your lordship, people will say anything under torture just to make the agony stop. We have served House von Valencia faithfully for decades. Master Prass, the longest of all. Please order them to stand down. The master of the court repeats the same monotonous formula, bidding the other representative to leave the courtroom. I see. Why are they putting things on scales? The scales of justice are a sacred relic installed as a testament to the alliance between the von Valencius dynasty on one side and the Adeptus Arbites and the Administratum on the other. Legends say ancient machine spirits dwell within the relic. Scales of justice are only used on extraordinary occasions when an intervention from the rogue trader is necessary. Ceremony dictates that items symbolizing the party's arguments be placed on the scales, and once the verdict is announced, the machine spirits weigh the decision made and show either affirmation or rejection through the position of the scales. However, there has never been an occurrence where the rogue trader and the spirits of the scales were divided on the verdict. It is highly unlikely that such an artifact actually exists. Judging by the design of the device, it is nothing more than a set of regular, albeit enormous and masterfully crafted weight scales, devoid of machine spirits of any kind. Someone must be secretly manipulating the plates in order to add greater profoundness to the rogue trader's verdict. Vigdis, quick, ask our ship's choirmaster whether Master Prass of Dargonus has been known to engage in any compromising behavior. At once, Lord Captain. The Palace of Justice falls silent for several minutes until Vigdis's voice returns. Choirmaster Wise has known Master Prass for quite a long time. He has made a very measured statement to the effect that for some time now, the mental images conveyed by Prass have taken on the shade of profound anxiety. and had become more aloof and detached overall. Zachary Wise attributes this to Prass's horrific experience during the warp storm, but he is less than completely sure, as there is still something that sets the Dargonis Choirmaster's messages apart from those of his fellow survivors. I want to hear my retinue's opinion. Both parties have shown disrespect for the Imperium's authority. The doleful host is engaging in mob justice, and the defendant did not even deign to stand trial in person. Sentence them both to death. That would be the optimal outcome. Give me details about the parties to this conflict. I want to see who among them is trustworthy. As the prefect leans toward you, you get a whiff of ink and candle wax. The doleful host is a respected cult of the God Emperor. The Adeptus Ministorum has deemed them to be paragons of virtue, who combat every manner of heresies, and has enlisted their aid in various conflicts. Naturally, the ecclesiarchy stops short of counting them among its warriors, but it uses them in similar ways. The Astropathic Choir hardly needs an introduction. They are some of the most valuable servants of the Imperium, without whom any and all communication between your worlds would collapse. The Dargonis Choir took horrific casualties in the recent major warp storm. Master Prass made an enormous effort to at least partially restore communication. While we may not have proof of his innocence, Prass's dedication to his duty is beyond doubt. The old woman locks her shriveled fingers together. As you can see, this is an intricate situation. You see clearly now that no matter what decision you make, it will backfire on you. However, there is a way to benefit from this. Allow the host to dispense their vigilante justice, then accuse the fanatics of violating an ancient agreement that forbade the ecclesiarchy from having its own army, and proceed to confiscate the host's property. I see. Okay. I heard you, and I'm ready to pass my judgment. Alright, so this one, we get holy gifts, melee weapons, and range weaponry. Here we get oh, that's a bad one. And if we agree with Solomon, we just get security. Okay. Let us see Sister Juth prove her faith. She may execute Prass if she acknowledges that the host is a minor army of the ecclesiarchy, for indeed it is one in essence. If the sister agrees, then upon Prass's execution, the doleful host will be sentenced to exile and expropriation, lest they be tempted to take up arms again. What's she gonna do? Nothing? Spoken like a true heir to Lady Theodora, who could squeeze gold out of a rock. Sister Juth would never recant her statement. She will have no choice but to accept your conditions. The prefect proceeds matter-of-factly to the next scroll. The court will now hear petition CR-1547/33 restated. The petitioner is Cardinal Anvalas. Your arguments, please, Cardinal. Okay. Oh, look at this guy. A gaunt man raises his bloodshot eyes to you. For a moment, all sounds cease, even the scratching of the countless servo skull's quills. The man's gaze is full of pain so strong and undulated that your breath seizes in your throat. I am impure, O Emperor's anointed one. I am beset by impure thoughts, but no one believes my confessions. I have been giving away the treasures I possess, only for people to bring me more. Worse still is the knowledge that I am leading people astray. They look at me and believe a state of perfect grace is attainable, while I am very tired. The Cardinal blinks away a tear and continues. But most terrible of all is that my brethren, the preachers of the Coronis Expanse, see me as a holy man. Their delusion has been so persistent that they sent a petition to Holy Terra asking that I be made a saint. That was when I became firm in my decision to submit to torture in front of my congregation, thus reminding them that no holiness exists unless bestowed as a gift by the God Emperor. Even clerics of my rank can and must repent, thus becoming more pure every day. Please allow me to undergo mortal torture in his name in front of my parishioners. What does my retinue have to say? Situation analysis complete. Let the paradox cease. Let functionality triumph. Suggestion. Use the unit Cardinal Anvilus's organic remains to construct a servo skull herald and place it in an automated chapel. The status of sainthood will be extended to the liturgical mechanism. The bloodspun web is knowledgeable in the ways to torment one's flesh without going to the undying one before due time. Daman, allow us to help Cardinal Anvilus attain enlightenment and experience the purity of near-death state. Undergoing our rite should make him realize it's not his gift to sever his own thread. According to the Lex Imperialis, a candidate saint may personally challenge their sainting by petitioning the Ecclesiarchy on Holy Terra. Sidestepping the head of the Imperial cult is a violation of the Emperor's law. Since astropathic communication with the rest of the Imperium has been disrupted, I propose to put Cardinal Anvilus on a ship that crosses the Maw, so that he can submit his request with every formality observed. But Solomon, the Maw is closed. That does nothing to diminish the stipulations of the Lex Imperialis. Besides, following the letter of the law absolves you of the necessity of tainting your hands with the blood of a potential saint. Either the Cardinal will cross the Maw, thus proving his sainthood, or he will perish if the Emperor wills it. As you can see, the Lex Imperialis has all the answers. Alright, am I hearing this correctly? Is this Cardinal asking to be tortured to death for his wickedness? That is correct. In addition, he insists on your subjects bearing witness to it, as a lesson to them, so to speak. To refuse a cardinal is impious in itself, but to execute one who is a saint in all but name. You devise an elegant rendering of the sentence, one that will convince everyone that you are right and save you from being branded a saint killer. All you must do is accuse the cardinal of intending to murder an all but canonized individual. I'm ready to pass judgment. Attention! The rogue traitor speaks. So what do I get? I get efficiency +2 for that choice. I get Cabela, I'll get complacency 1, Pascal, Prometheum, and mechanisms. Ooh. Security, but this down here. Cardinal Anvilus, in seeking permission to torture a holy man, you are violating both secular and ecclesiastic law. For that, I sentence you to death. A modicum of respect can be glimpsed in the prefect's gaze in your direction. A very balanced decision. It sets a precedent that, through reasoning by analogy, will help you optimize in other court cases on Dargonus. Bye-bye, buddy. You want to torture? You got it. The rogue traitor has made his decision. Arbitrators, carry it out. Let us move on to the last case for the day. The court will now hear case DP-1646/7, Lady Moles Secundus against the late Lord Moles. Lord Moles being deceased, he will be represented by his progeny, Agartha and Silas Moles. Representatives for the parties will present their arguments following standard procedure. Your lordship, I am Lady Moles Secundus. Only 8 cycles ago, a man broke into my house posing as my husband, the late Lord Moles. Contrary to what I know, he denies that he was killed by pirates. Instead, he purportedly survived, thanks to the God Emperor's providence. However, I hold here his death certificate, issued by the Administratum, which clearly states that my husband passed away. I demand that this fraud be executed. The woman belligerently waves around a scroll in which the words "declared dead" are clearly visible. The arguments are acknowledged and shall be weighed on the scale of justice. The representative will retreat to the Chapel of Patience to await verdict. Your lordship, our father did survive. He really was captured by pirates. We were going to demand ransom, but the Imperial Navy managed to board the ship and rescue him. After he went missing, our mother, Lady Moles, arranged for a death certificate before we received the good news. Now we are in the humiliating position of having to prove that our father is alive, while our mother is living with her new husband, Lord Secundus, and has taken over our family business. We implore you to restore Lord Moles to his life and name. He is humbly awaiting your decision in the Chapel of Patience. All arguments have been acknowledged that the rogue trader's verdict be delivered. What does Lord Moles have to say? The prefect plays a vox recording on one of the serval skulls. The soft voice is interspersed with static, but you are able to make out the words. I am Moles. When the pirates captured me, I thought I was doomed, but fate proved to be more gracious than that. I hurried home only to, from my own house, by my servants, and learned that Lady Moles had already had me declared dead and married Lord Secundus. She'd also taken control of everything. Agartha and Silas have recognized me. Losing my mind. What does the Moles family do? The prefect turns on one of her countless data slates. The Moles family manufactures nutritional rations. They supply the Astra Militarum, as well as the worlds that have no food production of their own. With the Lord at the helm, they covered the needs of 3 regiments and 5 worlds. Now it's 5 regiments and 12 worlds. One might say Lady Moles Secundus has done much better than her husband did. Lady Moles Secundus' talents are self-evident. She could easily boost production on any planet. What might be called her promotion under the guise of punishment would bring tangible benefits. You just so happen to think of several backwater worlds that have good potential but lack the capable stewardship to match it. I see. Let my retinue speak now. How could the woman have possibly known for sure her husband would make it out of a major dust-up like that? The business had ground to a halt, so she took things in her own hands. Actually, Shireen, on Ifrit you're allowed to take several spouses precisely in case this happens. It would be a trifle for you to amend the laws of Lady Moles Secundus' homeworld. Let her continue to fill your coffers. She's more than able to handle 2 husbands. If Lady Moles Secundus is right, then her children are the impostor's accomplices and are guilty of defaming the authenticity of administrative documents. Now Solomon has enough sang-froid in him for a regiment. Let the woman know that her heirs must face the same fate as the criminal, or so stipulates the Emperor's law. I see. The case is clear to me now. I'm ready to pass a verdict. There you are, husband and wife. Jai's idea will give us complacency +1. I will get profit factor 3 there. Okay. I hereby sentence Lady Moles Secundus to a duty of exploration and development of the Protectorate's fringe worlds. Give her everything she needs to conduct her business. I expect the results to be impressive. As she has been found guilty, Lord Moles is to be deemed alive. And nobody dies. The scales of justice. Lady Moles Secundus will depart for her place of exile before today ends. Arbitrators, carry out the sentence. Nice. Okay. Well then. As the last attendants leave the courtroom, the prefect turns to you with a delighted expression. Lady Theodora held court sessions like this to strengthen her subjects' faith in the Lex Imperialis and their fear of breaching it. A most useful practice, wouldn't you agree? I see. It was amusing at first, but not for long. If we are finally done, I will take my leave. Of course, your lordship, I dare not take up any more of your time. And so there we are. We have performed our court duty. I actually don't think there's... Oh, there's stuff here. What do we got? We got loot over here? There's loot. That's what we're looking for. Hard to imagine that we're going to have enough for Vladium. Old complaint. This time-worn piece of paper bears a petition of some sort. You managed to make out only a fragment. And then he treacherously intruded upon the ancestral territories of House Gaprak and wrought destruction therein. The list of damages is headed by, but not limited to, 3 servitors of ancient make, 5 armored vehicles, and 10 cogitators whose machine spirits are beyond recovery. Consequently, we demand that Sourback be penalized for an amount thricely covering the damage inflicted. In support of our accusation, we provide the following. Sourback? What are you guys doing? Not supposed to be doing. Fix the court cogitator. Pascal, you want to do that?
Operation.
The cogitator is filled with data on the workings of the Palace of Justice, listing things such as names and other stuff. Okay. Now then. Let's go see where the... Oh, wait a minute. Now what can we do? Examine. Yeah, listing the things such as the names of servants and the details of execution. The number of people entering the building is always greater than those leaving it. Yeah. Haha. Yeah. Grab the goods. And then over here. More goods. Okay. That part's done for now. Well, I had meant to do something else, but hoping to get to Footfall by then. But it did not happen. Well, let's see if we can get to Vibos and finish off this last thing that we incorrectly didn't finish off last time at the start of this episode because we didn't actually click the button. We didn't click the description. You gotta go to Vibos right here. We could use a few more mechanisms. We could definitely use a few more weapons. Alright. Some inhabitants of the colony are being visited by saints in their dreams. The workers are growing dangerously ecstatic from these pious visions. Proclaim that the saints give the workers their blessings so that they may be diligent in their toils. Pronounce the visions as heretical and drive their workers back to their stations. Under the pretext of a pilgrimage, round up the most vehement believers, take them into orbit and put them out through Inhala. Proclaim that the saints give the workers their blessings so that they may be diligent in their toils. Alright. Still overwhelmed with pious fanaticism, the workers exceed quotas and die of exhaustion right at their stations. That sounds perfect. Underground workers will give us plasteel for mechanisms. Don't care about that. Nothing else that we can really get. So everything else has been blocked by stuff. So that's done, which means that we're here. Oh, and yes, the incident. We need to talk to the Voxmaster and Master Helmsman Maravor. Well, let's finish that off this episode. Find out about this incident. Voxmaster. Lord Captain, the ship informed me of our imminent meeting. Can you recall anything unusual about Theodora's travels? Do the words epitaph or tech blight ring a bell? All of Lady Theodora's journeys could be considered unusual. Her odysseys were always audacious. As for the words you mentioned, none of them sounds familiar to me as far as I can tell. Perhaps these are matters of long ago, of which only my predecessor or a past seneschal could have known apart from Lady Theodora herself. My grandfather never mentioned any such thing, and I never met the old seneschal. Except maybe the incident. I recall coming across this word in transmissions several times. I think it was repeated by the former engine seer, the one who perished during Conrad Voigtver's uprising. He was describing it as the incident, something quite remarkable. Apparently, at some point in the past, the entire ship was hit by a massive system failure. All systems stopped responding for 1/5 of a second. Most of the crew, including myself, as I was likely on board at the time, did not notice anything strange, but tech priests are sensitive to such things. That is all I can tell you, Lord Captain. I wish I could help you more. Ptolemy, not long ago I took part in a celebration in Jai's honor. Would your lordship care to learn the circumstances of your return to the ship? I can assure you that the landing deck was damaged minimally. Mistress Haydari escorted you to your quarters, rather boldly touching the person of the rogue trader. And in response to the crew's attempts to help you, you endeavored to demonstrate your proficiency in several Efreet swear words that, according to you, Mistress Haydari had taught you earlier. Regarding the incidents that took place on Footfall, Liege Takara has already let us know that the persons affected have no claims against you and thank your lordship for the honor of witnessing how the rogue trader and his charming paramour amuse themselves. Nice. Okay, thanks. That's all for now. I live to serve, Lord Captain. Ravor? You're the last one. The tall man before you appears to be woven from tendons and muscle. Blue veins snick under his white, almost dove-colored skin, and his scalp and chin are covered in cropped white hair. His neck and shoulders are wrapped in wires that hint at the presence of neural connectors under his uniform. The officer's face seems to be twisted in a perpetual grimace of annoyance and anger, but he greets you with a respectful nod. Lord Captain, Master Helmsman Ravor, at your service. Does the word epitaph mean anything to you? Or perhaps incident N872-04? Or tech blight? It all has something to do with Theodore's travels. Rather extraordinary travels at that. Can't say they do, Lord Captain. Doesn't ring any bells. Then again, remembering all the places Lady Theodore went is... Epitaph incident. We've always had heaps of incidents happening on board, but through my implants I feel at one with this ship, and I sense that, and I don't know when it happened exactly, it started behaving differently, became more responsive, livelier. Yes, livelier is exactly the word. And when you said epitaph and incident, it just dawned on me. Pardon my bungled report, Lord Captain, but that's all I've got to say on that front. So, that's all he knows. Talk to Nomos about Theodora's caches. Okay, Nomos. What do you got for me, buddy? Hello, Nomos. Welcomes your visit. Incident N872-04 was a shipwide system failure of some kind. It and Epitaph had something to do with the ship flying better. The incident marked the beginning of us. The ship became better because of us, too. These are all links in the same chain, but we cannot piece them together yet. What about the research notes on the tech blight that we obtained from the cache on Kiava Gamma? This name is also known to us. It is related to Nomos, although we do not understand how. The people who accompanied Theodora on her travels are strangely unaware of the incident and Epitaph. Human shells are subject to external influences. Perhaps someone purged their memory archives, or perhaps they simply do not want to access them. It is a shame that no new information was obtained, but Nomos are grateful that you tried. Okay. Cyber Gargoyle's gaze tracks you as you walk away from the cogitator. That doesn't help us much. Perhaps the mystery of Nomos' origins will present itself in time, which it will. Silence of Mare Sergit. In the papers of a wrecked Arbiter shuttle, the rogue trader found the coordinates of a cache where the disgraced crime syndicate tried to hide their riches from the law. The silence of Mare Sergit. Where the hell is that? A cache? That's more stuff we can turn into Vladium. Okay, Mare Sergit. Silence of Mare Sergit. Is that lower right or lower left? Are we talking east or Mundus Nullius? It's not there. There. Fortiseptum, Carnash, Nulliseptum. Right there. It's right there. Okay. Let's go set ourselves up for that, shall we? We can do that next episode and find out what's going on with this cache. The silence of Mare Sergit. Oh yeah, we can go down here. We'll head like we're heading to Footfall and pop up here. Let's just make this safe. Alright, we're going to leave it here, folks. It's been a long episode. The scales of justice have been weighed and measured. I will see you all next episode. You know what to do. Like the video, subscribe, leave questions and comments down below. And until next time, happy gaming, everyone.